Hey, hey, hey. It's your girl, Coach Pamela Hankins, and welcome to 5 minutes through divine transformation. Listen, I'm making excuses why I was not present on the job last week. I had to work my full time, and listen, I'm not spring chicken. Nevertheless, let's jump in. I have toiled with this all week long on whether or not to even speak publicly on this particular topic. Let me say this. I don't ever want to be opinionated because I know people have their opinion. We never know what goes on in anyone's household. And even if somebody tells you things about their household, like you never have the whole complete picture, you just have pieces of it. So let me just say this. Unless you know the whole story, you cannot truly give a good make good opinion or observation. It's just like with doctors. They take and diagnose you based upon the information that you provide. And with that decision, educated guess, if you will, on what you may be suffering. With that being said, marriages under attack. This week alone, there were just there was a Virginia who did a murder suicide. I think I read like there were 7 um, murders, even one right here of a minister um, who was murdered in Charlotte. As I was driving, I asked God, why is marriage under attack? Marriage was the first covenant God went into with mankind. Out of the marriage, Adam and Eve were told to be fruitful and multiply. I don't know if what I sense or thought, and I'm really, 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 really going to go to my face to God in prayer to really find out. Part of me feels like Is it to stop people from being fruitful and multiply? And that's not the case because people will have babies, make babies out of wedlock without being married for those that don't know what wedlock means. Because I don't want to assume anything. But yeah, but I'm really as to why marriages, the institution of marriage, is under attack. So I asked for some assistance just for statistics from my thought partner. And I'm going to read because I can't remember all this stuff about marriage. So let's start with in 2025. I'm going to just start just with the wedding. The average U.S. wedding cost was projected to be between 35 and 36,000. Let me repeat that again. The average U.S. wedding was projected to be about 35 to 36,000. That means, and I'm just going to ask my partner to list me some jobs in the US whose average income is that amount. My thought partner is ChatGPT. So let's see what it says. Please list the jobs. Provide me a list of jobs. Now, I know my first job in customer service at PNC in that. So common jobs that are commonly earned around 35,000 a year. Data entry clerk, a receptionist, an office clerk, customer service representative, retail associate, a store supervisor, entry level, cashier, full time, entry, call center agent. So, what we are average American spends on marriages alone could afford to pay the salary of a customer service agent, a receptionist, an office clerk, and a store supervisor entry level. So think about how many weddings that are held a year and how many jobs. Employees' annual salary that you could spend just in a wedding alone. Amazing. And that is why that industry people make money. Okay. So now here's some more statistics. This is the thing, though, that I think, and I talked about this before, but I really, 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 really want to hone in on it today. Are we married to the wedding or are we married to the marriage? Because it's all well and good and all fun and dandy. Preparing for it, it is stressful. Trying to find a hall, making certain that people can show up. People getting mad because they didn't get asked or whatever the case may be. It's stressful. And at the expense of the bride and the groom. And sometimes they're not even happy because if you do it traditionally, the bride's family would pay for the wedding, the groom's family traditionally would pay for the reception. But it is so much emotion tied to the wedding and not enough emotion tied to the marriage. We spend more money preparing for the wedding than we do to try to save the marriage. So here's some more insightful statistics. The average median, according to my thought partner chat, for an average U.S. marriage is about 20 years typically. However, it says that the length that most marriages end in divorce is 7 to 8 years. And data shows that the median is starting to increase to about 10 to 12 years before individuals file for divorce. And I guess that's where they coined the term the 7-year inch comes from. So, average first marriage, they say, lasts 20 to 21 years. Average second marriage is about 17 years. And average third marriage is 13 years. Now, this is the part that got me when it talked about percentages of divorce. So, it says the core divorce data, this is interesting. First marriage, 41% of first marriages end in divorce. So that's like almost half. So it's like a 60-40 chance your first marriage will not end divorce. It says 60% of second marriages end in divorce. So now the percentage changes. You have a greater chance of your second marriage ending in a divorce than you do your first marriage ending in divorce. And then it says 73% of third marriages end in divorce. That's deep. So it's like roughly 25% of people who get married the third time, do they stay married until death do them part? Now it says divorce rate 2.5 per 1,000 people, and marriage rate is 6.0 per 1,000 people. Now it does say that divorce rates are starting to decline, and because people are marrying later, and they're becoming a more selective, and they're staying married longer. The average cost of a divorce is $15,000 a year. And about one divorce takes place every 42 seconds. Every 42 seconds in the US. This is what chat is saying. One divorce is taking place every 42 seconds. So can you imagine how many divorces are taking place within just a minute? Within an hour? Within a year? OMG. I'm over here like bugging. This is crazy. I can't wait for God to tell me and help me to really understand why marriage is so under attack. I mean, when you're shacking, there's no attack. Really? Maybe? I don't think so. I know some people who've stayed shacking for 99 years. They seem to be okay. I don't know. Why am I bringing this up? Because in the headline, people have talked about various divorces, even this week, as much as Tina Campbell and Teddy Campbell, their divorce, and because their relationship was so public. I have my opinion, but that's just what it is. It's an opinion. But let me tell you, my heart was grieved. My spirit was really grieved to hear the news. And the same day I heard the news, a very good friend of mine was visiting, and she shared with me that before she came into town, she asked her husband for a divorce. And my spirit was grieved. Divorce is death. It is death to a relationship that once was so full with love and promise. It is death to a family structure. Children of divorce had grown accustomed to having both parents in the household, and now that's not the case. They have to spend weekends with dad and weekends with mom. And now, am I saying that if the marriage is abusive, that a woman should stay? And I know some could even debate, what God's word says in the Bible. But what I know is this: God gives us discernment. He gives us wisdom. And his word says that he will give it to us as we ask for it freely. So, what am I saying? Stop judging. Don't judge lest thee want to be judged. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know how people react when they argue, what they say, what they do. We don't have a clue. And while we paying so much attention to other people's stuff, we're taking attention away from our own stuff. Mind yours. Because know that in the public divorces that have been taking place this week, even in the senseless death that has happened to women this week, we can all say, I would have left. But some of us who are talking about we would have left, Y'all once was in an abusive relationship and you stayed until you got sick and tired of being sick and tired. What is the best thing that we could possibly do as a nation, as people, as a human race, as Christians? We should pray. Pray for the institution of marriage. Pray for our friends and our family. Listen, a friend of mine's just recently got married. And it's like, wow, as I saw her get married, then months later, her son got married. It is my prayer that not only her marriage, but her son's marriage takes and lasts until death do them part from their mates, and that their marriage would honor and glorify God, and that all who were in attendance would pray. I pray that I know she definitely had women who are prayer warriors because she is one herself. And I pray that they continue to pray for her and for her husband, for the marriage, right? Pray for the pieces of her that they know she may need to work on, and vice versa. But that is the best thing we can do. We can pray for women and even men that we know who are in abusive relationships, that they will leave safely with their lives. But to sit around and talk about, you seen the signs, you should have left. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, you never know what you will do until you are in someone else's shoes. So, with that, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to meet me here while I unleash the divine that is in me. I also want you to know, for those who don't know, almost 2 years ago, on April 22nd, I published my first solo project as an author, The Chronicles of a Praying Wife. And God placed it in my heart, and I had a little nudge. And so soon, and very, very, very soon, I will be releasing the companion companion workbook and journal. I am so excited. It is in being published as we speak. I am just waiting for the final to say it's ready. So with that, I invite you to take advantage of the special that I'm running until April 30th. You would be able to take advantage of getting the Chronicles of a Praying Wife workbook and journal together, both of them, for $30. You'll have to take and go ahead and go to my website. And here, let me run it right across the screen. It should be showing soon. There it is. The website is www.phankins.com. And while you're there, take advantage of the free ebook, Love and Relationships. And if you're feeling really adventurous, sign up for the April 18th class. Which was the last one? Sorry. I forgot today was April 18th. April 18th was the last free masterclass. No knight in shining armor. Yes. It was the last masterclass. So, with that, go to the website, download the free Love and Relationship ebook, and there you can take advantage of getting the journal and the workbook for $30. But if you want to get the complete bundle, I'm offering a special where you can get the book, Chronicles of Praying Wife, the workbook, and the journal, all three for $45. They regularly run $55 for all three. So you're going to be saving $10. And I think that's a great deal because you're saving $10. So take advantage of that. And as always, like I said, thank you for taking the time to unleash the divine that is in you. And meet me back here next week for another episode of 5 Minutes to Divine Transformation. And with that, stay safe and have a blessed and happy, soulful weekend.